Daescu, a team that's played together, won together this season.
Wow!
The big man puts it away. The men with the Midas touch. Daescu and Nunnery take the gold.
Gold medalists here are Andrei Daescu and Rob Nunnery.
Outstanding performance by Andrei Daescu and Rob Nunnery.
The men with the Midas touch is right. 5 gold medals for the partnership of Andrei Daescu and Rob Nunnery on tour this year. Gold in Atlanta, gold in New Jersey. The top seed in this men's doubles tournament once again going for gold here this weekend.
Yeah, they have been on top of their game. Now, the question is, as we see Rob Nunnery walking over, coughing into his arm, he is not 100% today. He's not feeling well. So we'll see how that comes to play. They did go 3 in their first match here on Championship Court that we saw, and it's been a little bit of a struggle so far, and so we'll see how that comes into play, how big Andrei does get there in the middle and try and take over.
A look at the 38-year-old out of Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, taking on Jason McNulty and Andrei Mick, the 5 seed. Making their first appearance here on Championship Court as we are set to go. Nunnery starts us off.
Oh.
Daescu with the first backhand step in.
I don't know where Andrei Mick came from right there, but he shouldn't.
And the balance of Daescu up at the kitchen line, too. He's on his toes, staying out of the kitchen.
Mick can't come up with the forehand. Another quick point for Daescu and Nunnery.
Yeah, Mick and McNulty are able to grab a bronze in Cincinnati this year. Andrei Mick grabbing a gold with CJ Klinger in St. Louis.
The ball was just wide, 3-0-2. Daescu, a little bit too much sauce on the forehand there, sends it long.
Again, it's a case of a little bit shorter backswing, and either you go shorter backswing, flatter ball, or add a little bit more topspin when you've got that wind behind you.
Wow, did
Nunnery
hit that?
He did, and now he's walking back. Trying to stretch out the shoulder a
that
little
one
bit.
bounced halfway in the kitchen.
A little awkward on the way down.
Well, he had some arm problems earlier this season, and you see him still continuing to stretch out that right arm.
And Nunnery into the tape. You don't see him miss that shot very often.
Well, he tried to sell it a little too much. He tries to sell it with the body movement going to the left. Make it look like he's going to go cross-court and then just sliding it down the line. But caught that one a little late. And that one catching a little flat into the top of the net as well.
Another side out for McNulty and Mick trailing it here in game number 1.
Yeah, 0-3.
Long point goes the way of McNulty and Mick as they get on the board.
And you heard Daescu in the middle of that trying to tell Nunnery let that ball go, but it's on top of him so quick. Hard to not play that.
1-3-1. Yeah, Andrei is not going to miss that. That's an easy overhead put away.
Well, it goes right at the body of Mick here, too. And He apologizes for that, but that's the right spot as he's up near the kitchen line.
Mick trying the backhand roll. My favorite thing is watching the players' faces when they cannot believe that they missed the shot that they wanted so badly.
Well, again, trying to sell it like he's going to go cross-court with it after 2 good cross-court dinks. But then he just rushed to try to get it through the middle, and he's going over the highest part of the net.
Beautifully constructed. Mick almost got to it, but it's another point for Daescu and Nunnery.
Well, it started on a great cross-court dink here from Nunnery. He started that whole exchange. It pulled McNulty pretty much off the court.
Unkind net cord falls back over. Second serve coming for Daescu and Nunnery.
About the third dink that Nunnery has left short off the tape.
This time he
uses that forehand roll to go behind Mick.
Yeah, sells it down the line. Doesn't create too much body movement, but just enough that Mick leans to that forehand side and that ball in the middle. Nunnery slides it behind him. Oh, Jason McNulty with the big time counters.
Earns the side out, still trailing by 4. So many good counters in that point.
It kept getting wider and wider and wider, and you saw that last one that McNulty's elbow is completely up, almost like a full chicken wing. So when he punches out, it's going to push that ball down.
Oh, McNulty scrambling to get back in that point.
Daescu yelled at Nunnery to let one go. Nunnery yelled at Daescu to let one go. Neither one of them do. And they end up on the short end of that stick on that point.
Nunnery again coming up short on a dink, and Dominic goes back to not feeling his best today. Doesn't look quite as sharp as we're used to seeing him.
Well, again, it's the sickness and maybe the shoulder too, not feeling, or the arm not feeling so good either.
Just miscommunication through the center of the court. Easy point for Mick.
Well, and part of it as well, when you're mentally drained, you're physically drained, you're not getting into your athletic position, you're not moving like you typically would.
And Daescu trying to tag Mick, but just able to get out of the way. That ties it at 5-all.
Oh, that ball was way out down the line. Nunnery looks over and gives a little smile.
As he heard you say way out, and he's like, yeah, I probably know it was. Oh, nice spot right there in the middle and caused just enough confusion.
Nunnery going for a little bit too much there on the forehand.
Yeah, just tried to rush it. And that's, that's part of it. You're trying to get rid of that ball and get it to a spot before your opponents can get into position. And you end up cutting off the swing.
Daescu, the easy put away.
Yeah, good spot in the middle from Daescu as he doubles up in the same spot. Nunnery and Daescu with the old school stack.
Couple of no's in the middle of that point. McNulty and Mick on the bad end of that.
Yeah, I mean that was majority of that was just communication as far as not even hitting out balls, but saying don't speed it up.
Taking a look at the ball, trying to make sure everything's good. It bounces the way it's supposed to.
You got 40 holes in it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll let you count all those.
Well,
keep you occupied.
Well, the other reason too is why they're spinning it is because if it's out of round at all, it starts jumping, and you get that wobble in the ball. Oh. Gonna spin back, spin back.
And Daescu and Nunnery scrambling on defense. That's something that we don't see them do very often. They're not typically out of the point.
Well, that's a situation where, the wind holds the ball up. There's not. You can just try to get a paddle on it, and that's about it.
Nunnery cutting it too fine. It comes up short. His side out for McNulty and Mick as it is still 5-all. Daescu and Nunnery got out to a 5-1 lead, but since then McNulty and Mick have been steadily chipping away.
That's good inside out forehand there from Rob Nunnery down the line. Keeps it tight to the net. Pulls Mick completely to the sideline and causes the error.
Mick trying to find some forehand space down the line. A quick side out serve goes back over to the top seed.
Seeing a little more bounce in the step of Rob Nunnery here the last 2 points. Let's see if he's trying to kind of will something here to the end of this first game.
Mick going for the backhand speed up, doesn't get it. Point Daescu Nunnery.
Yeah, and the breakdown point for Andrei Mick is that he tries to rush his shots. We saw it with a drive a couple of times. We just saw it with that backhand flick. Need to think about keeping the ball on the paddle a little bit longer, and a fantastic around the post there from Rob Nunnery.
Just lets this ball travel as far as it could. And he stop moving, then just reach for it.
Rob Nunnery has some of the most casual but effective ATPs on tour. Another point for Daescu and Nunnery. It's 3 straight.
These players absolutely hate the net court. Like, they hate it more than life itself. And again, that's the reason why right there is because Daescu hits this drop, and he had so much backspin on it, right? So as soon as it hits the net too and drops over, it's going to come back towards the net, and it makes it so much harder to get that ball back up and over.
It's all fun and games here on Championship Court. It was fun and games earlier this week when Dom and I hit up the Dallas State Fair.
Here we go.
Look at that. You like that?
You left one.
I did, but
this was the highlight of the night.
There.
That looked pretty good right there. Look at you two sharing it. That's so cute.
It was delicious. I didn't want to share. I'm not going to
This one. Oh, you call yourself a baseball player.
I got one.
Come on.
I got one.
We ate all the food.
Yeah.
We did.
I mean, if you don't go to the fair and eat all the fried food, did you even go? Besties!
Talking about my best friend.
Way too much fun.
Ooh.
Mick sends it long.
Just out. Let's take another look right here. Maybe.
Was close.
Not. Maybe in. I don't know.
A 9-5-1 is the call. Good angle there on the put away from Andrei Mick.
Yeah, again, that's what it's all about. Again, you see these guys come in here, and when you see players try and pound an overhead straight back to the baseline, those balls are coming back. You have to hit that angle, and Andrei Mick does it right there.
On time tried to cut it too fine, ends up pushing it wide, and gives Daescu and Nunnery a game point at 10-5-2. And Daescu cannot convert, side out.
This cuts a little too quick. You know what? I blame my son for having to miss the state fair with you guys.
Still going on.
They're still talking about that, huh?
The fact that he had to go to school.
All right, we'll blame school for that. All right.
I mean, you know, he averages about 2 days of school a week at this point. Oh, it's shaped back in.
Just curved back in.
Daescu can't believe it.
It hung up. It hung up there enough for the wind to blow it in. Right on the line.
6-10-2.
Okay, that'll work.
Nunnery hit an out ball, but it ends up catching the line.
He looks over at Dorian and goes, maybe out, maybe out. We'll never know because he hits a winner off of it. But if you're going to play a ball that your partner says out on,
you better win the point.
Hit a winner. Hit a winner. And that's what Nunnery does.
Backhand flick for Daescu finds the court, and game one goes the way of the top seeds. We will have game two action coming up next here on Championship Court. It's the 2023 APP Dallas Open.
Years from tonight, Grant Gill will become a legend when he totally kills it at his improv class's graduation performance. Knees will be slapped, suds will be sprayed. People won't know what hurts more, their cheeks or their sides. That's why he's already keeping himself in shape and razor sharp today with health tips and wellness tools from AARP to help make sure his health lives as long as he does. Because the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
We save time when we buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Which means more time
Wait, take
for...
a check.
Kyle, it's pickleball.
Every time.
002.
Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
The APP is presented by AARP, Franklin, Leo Rivet, and Pickleball United.
Welcome back to Championship Court as we get set for Game 2 between the top seed Andrei Daescu and Rob Nunnery and the 5 seed Jason McNulty and Andrei Mick. Daescu and Nunnery took Game 1 11-6. Mick tagging Nunnery right above the right shoulder.
Yeah. Catches him on the movement. Coming back middle. Nunnery tries to duck out of the way, but catches that right shoulder. A good patience there from McNulty and Mick.
And Daescu and Nunnery known for those long, grinded-out style points.
Yeah, Nunnery going backside here on Andrei Mick. He catches him kind of lean into the middle, and Mick ends up trying to go left-handed.
Unfriendly bounce for Rob Nunnery. That net cord is really nobody's friend today.
Well, you know, it's either a positive net cord or a negative net cord, and unfortunately, with the wind,
it's been negative more often than not.
It's been very negative because a lot of balls are catching it. That
Nunnery with the roll.
Nunnery pushed that through the wind.
That's Nunnery's shot. Loves that little roll shot. Just a bit long, side out quickly, back over to McNulty and Mick. Mick misses the third.
Well, beautiful serve from Mick. An even better return from Nunnery on a tough serve.
Backhand flick from Mick finds the line.
That's the power of the XR right there. That's a couple of more revolutions.
Power of the XR.
Gets that ball to drop inside the baseline.
That time Daescu going down the line with the backhand.
Read that like a book.
That's not the spot.
No, Daescu just sitting here. Because why? Because he knows Nunnery's got the middle and got his back if the speed up goes there. So Daescu knows his job. He knows what to do and just punishes that ball back down the line.
That time Nunnery able to get out of the way.
But the other thing with that McNulty speed up right there too is he speeds up down the line and then moves to the middle. So if you're speeding up behind Daescu, the area for that ball to come back is always going to be line. So if you're going to speed up there, you might as well sit there on the forehand.
Mm-hmm.
1-2-2. Backhand put away from Andrei. Mick earns the side out.
That's the frack.
That forehand backhand, just it's so deceiving. And when you can have someone who can go inside out like Mick does with it, that's disgusting.
Oh, excellent job there from McNulty. Gets himself in trouble, but doesn't rush forward, just resets it, gets that ball down. Daescu's thinking about keeping McNulty back, and he steps up, gets on top of it, and a good finish on the point there.
Daescu targeting that left hip of McNulty. Forces the error.
Tried to keep it too tight to the net right there, did Mick, and he ends up rolling over the top of it instead of staying through it. You watch that, he just goes too hard on that roll.
How good were the hands throughout that point?
I mean, just ridiculous by all four of these guys. Again, a couple of let cords, too, that came into play right there. And then Mick putting a fist through his paddle almost.
Oh, that ball actually sailed deep. It got pushed out by the wind. Yeah, but that's what Nunnery and Daescu will do to you. They get balls back. They move balls around. They keep you off balance. And you saw that second step from Mick. Now, Mick and McNulty going to take a timeout here. Regroup.
Missed return makes it 4-3 in favor of Daescu and Nunnery, a 3-point run for the top seed. Daescu and Nunnery starting to take a little bit more control. They struggled in game 2 of their opening match. Ended up dropping it 11-2 to Irizarry and Dobrin before having to take it in 3 games. But what is it about the play of Daescu and Nunnery, even though it's not as clean as we've typically seen it today, that makes it so difficult to play against?
Just their presence puts you on check, and it puts you on notice, right? They've been here. They've done that. They know how to win. No matter how much you get up on them or may have a lead on them, they're not going to go away. And that was evident in that first game. It was a 5-5 game. And then I looked at Nunnery, and it looked like he had a little bounce in his step. He wanted to pick up his energy a little bit, and as soon as that happened, they go on a 6-1 run to end it in game 1, and you have that presence in front of you, and it can be intimidating if you're not careful.
That ball's just wide. Daescu sliding across that one with the paddle. I mean, one thing we haven't seen as much from Mick and McNulty is, we saw it in St. Louis where Mick and Klinger beat Nunnery and Daescu 11-3, 11-3 in the regular draw, and then beat them again in the game to 15. And they were inserting speed, they were inserting pressure, they were really setting the tone. If you allow Nunnery and Daescu to set the pace and the tempo of the game, you're in trouble.
It's a nice backhand overhead from McNulty, finding the feet in between Daescu and Nunnery.
Well, again, he gets a little love off the tape right there. He's going to take that all day because that was a nice lob to the right spot over the backhand of McNulty by Nunnery.
That ball's just deep. McNulty and Mick still trailing by 1.
3-4-2. Another side out.
Nice ball backside right there by Nunnery.
Well, the thing Nunnery does so well with that is that there are very few balls that he overhits. He always stays kind of at that same pace. So he can keep the ball on the paddle a little bit longer or hold his shot because he's not overhitting.
5-3-1. And Nunnery not able to return that one. But that's his game, though, right? Medium pace, heavy spin, very deceptive on his roll shots. That's what makes him so good.
See Daescu hit that third way up high and let the wind knock that down. That was a tough shot for Mick to make because that ball bounced so close to the net.
Mick just missing it in transition. Took his eye off it for a second.
Yeah, and he's trying to run through it too. Set his feet, hit that ball, then come up.
Able to get a point off of the backhand air by Daescu. Oh, just beautiful, smart pickleball there from Daescu.
Well, he sees Mick coming up and pinching hard middle as he follows this ball in, and he just goes backside on him nicely.
Nunnery going right at the right hip of Mick earns another point.
Yeah, it was a good step over from Daescu to start that exchange.
6-4-1.
Oh,
jeez. Another point for Daescu and Nunnery. To play against that kind of defense has to be so mentally taxing.
And Nunnery's laughing right here because the pickup that both you guys were like,
well,
oh,
it wasn't Nunnery, it was Daescu.
No, I know. Nunnery's laughing about it because he's like, how did he get that? Because there was Andrei had no business getting that ball and digging that ball in and just dropping it in perfectly, too.
Mick able to find some court for the put away there. Andrei Mick finally getting the better of Andrei Daescu. Lets out a yell.
Yeah, a little absorption volley here. I would like to see Mick, though, when he speeds the ball up, is a two-ball attack. He was speeding it up there and then not going for the next one. Just leaving it for McNulty to hit.
Step over and take that second one.
Yeah.
That one's not coming back.
Daescu tried to put a hole in the court with that one.
The court, the fence, everywhere. I'm not even sure where that ball went.
He's trying to dig it out of the chain link. Got squashed inside it.
There's a 1-2 combo from him, but again,
well, he couldn't leave it to
McNulty, but that's a good 1-2 combo there from Mick, and I'd like to see him do that.
There was still a slight hesitation in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mick pushes it a little bit wide, just a little bit too quick on the trigger when the ball is on the paddle.
It's a frustration because what did he do twice? He hit two really good balls that Daescu just reset back in. And so now when that happens, now you try and go too big on the next one, and then you go a little wide.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a mindset because you get that ball, and what you try to do is you try to hit it so hard that it's not going to come back. Whereas if you take that ball, you put it down to the feet, yes, it might come back, but you're still applying that pressure. Nunnery and Daescu with their defense, specifically Daescu, with how many balls he gets back, he frustrates you, he makes you go for more, he makes you go bigger, and the bigger you go, the more errors you make.
Very similar to playing a Novak Djokovic on the tennis side, where you know the margins are that slim and you have to be that good, but you're talking about the mental side of things, and when it's physical and it's skills, those are easier fixes because you can make the adjustments immediately. How do you change a mental set going up against a Daescu or a Nunnery?
Well, it's tough because mentally they frustrate you because, like we were just saying, everything comes back. And so when everything starts to come back, you mentally start to think, I got to do more, I got to do more, when actually you don't. You need to do less.
Well, I mean, back in the day, they'd just give you a lobotomy, right? It's almost what it is. It's you've just got to take that mentality out completely and readjust everything. Again, right there.
Yep, trying to be too perfect on the line right there, and you make a mistake wide.
The backhand wide off of the paddle of Andrei. Mick makes it 8-5. That's that big reach of Daescu paying benefits.
Flashbacks, Deckelbar Adam Stone shot right there where
eye formation
over the top,
yeah,
and Stone ducking down, and Nunnery right there ducking down.
Actually, when we were in New Jersey, they had a poster of that in the indoor facility that we went to. Oh.
Nice speed up there from Mick into the hip of Nunnery.
Well, it's a perfect spot right there, right? And instead of trying to do too much and find an open area, he finds the right spot on the body of Nunnery.
Earns the side out, but still has some work to do, trailing by 4 here in game number 2. That time getting too big at the kitchen line.
Well, and that's a point where you're not going for court on that one. You're trying to go body, and if you miss body, well, yeah, it's 6 feet out.
Missed third from McNulty gives Daescu and Nunnery the serve back, and that's something that McNulty and Mick don't have the luxury of at this point in the game. They cannot afford to side out quickly.
Oh.
Chaotic point, but Daescu pushes it long.
Well, huge setup. Great setup by Nunnery on this lob. That's perfect. And Daescu just over-hitting that.
Yeah,
Very
it's actually out in front of it a little bit.
That's something we don't see Daescu do very often.
Well, the slower pace of McNulty's overhead right there, because it was on the backhand side. Daescu way out in front of it.
Daescu can't make the play side out, back over to McNulty and Mick.
So they've held Daescu and Nunnery on 9 for a couple service games here, and now they need to answer, though, because they have not answered when they got the ball back on serve.
Second straight service game that Daescu and Nunnery have not been able to record a point. Mick gets a point with the put away through the court.
But that's good aggression there from Mick. He stayed on it. He didn't get too big. He split step before each time he hit, and he just stayed balanced.
McNulty trying to step in, but pushes the backhand flick long.
As soon as he hit it, he wanted it back. He's like, there's no way I should be hitting that ball right there, and he knows it.
Well, especially with that motion, and that's exactly what it was. It was a down-up push. It wasn't a brush. It wasn't a roll.
Mick finding some open court for the point.
That's when Andrei Mick is dangerous. Big drive, steps behind it, again controlled.
And we're seeing him take the 5th ball, but the 5th ball under control now instead of just wailing away at it.
It's going to land in.
Oh, Mick, benefit of the ball hanging up just a touch.
Just the last-second defense from Mick and flick at it, and he throws it up over the top of Nunnery, and it lands in.
I think that that extra piece of lead tape on the edge guard right there helped Mick, because he got the bare minimum of the edge guard.
Mick cuts the backhand too close. That ends a 4-0 run.
And when they're up at the kitchen, I'd rather see Daescu and Nunnery going to Mick with their dinks instead of McNulty. McNulty's controlling the ball wherever he is pushed to. I'd like to see him go to Mick when they do get up to that kitchen line and get the point neutral.
Daescu driving it at the feet of McNulty to bring up match point at 11-8.
Yeah, McNulty
or 10-8 rather.
Just getting stuck in a tough spot there, backing away, ball down to the feet.
Mick and McNulty fight off one match point. Second one coming. How about the defense from Andrei Mick to find some space between Daescu?
Yeah, that's a huge point right there at a big time, because it looked like Daescu and Nunnery had that point in control and under control on the reset from Nunnery, but then all of a sudden here comes Mick and McNulty and they fight off a match point.
Nice decision from Daescu. Takes a little bit off, drops the roll in the court.
That was just calm, cool, and collected right there. That ball down the middle, that was not hit hard. It was placed in the right spot. That's an easy winner.
Yeah, that's trouble.
Could see that coming from a mile away.
Video challenge of that ball. That ball is in. Oh, gotcha.
And you just want to buy another out there.
Gotcha. That's
Game and match to Daescu and Nunnery as they take it 5-8 over Jason McNulty and Andrei Mick. We'll hear from the winners when we come back here on Championship Court. You're watching the 2023 APP Dallas Open.